Hello and welcome to episode number 230 of the Launch Lounge podcast. Today I'm so excited because we're diving into something that I know is on so many of your minds. How to consistently hit those 10K months in your course or coaching business. If you've ever thought, I know my course works, I've got the testimonials to prove it, but this whole making consistent income thing, that feels like throwing spaghetti on the wall. Sounds familiar? Well, today we're going to change that for you. So stay tuned. Hello! It is lovely for me to be here with you. How many days until Christmas? Just a handful. I hope you've got everything planned and ready. Right now I'm sitting in my office. It's 3 p.m. and it is dark and windy and there is a storm outside. This time of year in Brisbane, it is just rain, rain, rain and more rain. It is wet. I can't get my clothes dry. The towels in the bathroom never dries. Everything is wet and it is raining and bucketing. And right now it is dark and windy and the rain is falling. I love it. I just love it. On today's episode, I'm going to walk you through the exact framework that's helped hundreds of my students move from sporadic course sales to predictable 10K months. If you haven't yet seen the guide to making your first 10Ks that is on my website, I encourage you to go and check it out. That is what today's episode is based on and what we're going to deep dive into and discuss. And the best part is that this whole framework that I designed is not about working harder. It's not about adding more to your already full plate, because I know, you're already recording podcasts during your kids' soccer practice and writing emails after bedtime and replying to social media posts when you're, standing at the traffic light. And I know all those things because I used to do all those things, but I do not do those things anymore. I have delightfully healthy boundaries around work and kids right now. And every single year, as my kids get older, I set stronger and stronger boundaries, and I'm loving it. So let's break down these 5 phases that are going to help you create consistent 10K months. Let me give you the big picture first. In phase 1, we're going to talk about building your audience without selling your soul. Phase 2, we'll discuss building your email list for future students. In phase 3, we're going to talk about priming your audience during your launch or runway. Phase 4 is all about filling your hot list with leads who wants to buy. And phase 6 is about launch so you can make more sales. Let's dive into phase 1, building your audience without selling your soul. I want you to grab a pen and a piece of paper and write this down. You don't need to be everywhere or on all the time. You don't need to be everywhere or on all the time. In fact, if you feel like you are on all the time because of what you're doing on social media and how you're managing replying to comments and being there and engaging, you are doing something wrong. But I used to do it as well. And I know how the scarcity in our brains can take over and tell us that if we don't reply this absolute instant to that DM that just came in, we're going to lose the potential of making that next sale. Or, social media is really good at using urgency and scarcity to get us to think that, we have to be on all the time. I have a sleep mode or a away mode set on my Instagram account so that at a certain point in the evening when I'm done working, my Instagram account stops sending me notifications, stops talking to me. In fact, I have my phone set so that at 8 p.m. every night, literally, I can get no more communication from anyone anywhere except the people that are on my emergency list. So, engagement on social media matters, right? But there's a reason you're on social media, and it is only one reason. And that one reason you're on social media is to get people to opt into your email list. I see so many entrepreneurs building their entire business on social media. And it's problematic on so many levels because you don't own that platform. So if something happens, your audience disappears. But also, you want people to be in your email list. You want good, healthy business practices from day one where your content is driving people to want to take the next step with you, where you're learning to communicate with them in such a way that everything leads to the next thing. Everything on your social media should be designed to get them to opt into your email list. Now, I'm not saying every post should be designed because some posts just need to get engagement. Some posts just needs to get in front of new eyes and introduce us to them. But if you're planning and creating content on social media every single week or every single month, but you have not stopped to think, how is my strategy for social media helping me get more people onto my email list? Then you, my friend, have been lied to by social media managers and social media platforms and probably some bros and maybe some hoes. I'm sorry if you have your kids in the car and I just said that, but I just couldn't resist it. I just opened the door for that one. Listen, you have permission to do social media your way. No dance moves required, right? You have permission to let that DM sit until tomorrow morning or to teach someone else how to reply to the DM in a way that moves those people onto your email list. And if you're really clever and you hang out with me, you probably have my $5 a day engagement ad strategy that I teach everybody, because that gets you automatic engagement on your social media, which means every time you post to invite people to join your email list, more people sees it because the algorithm already gives you more joy because you're spending money. Super simple, right? Okay. So, phase number one, build your audience without selling your soul. What I want you to take away from phase number one is yes, social media matters. It doesn't matter as much as what you do with people once they join your email list. It doesn't matter as much as where you're building your business, your blog or your podcast, or that thing that you own that is yours, that you can optimize, that you can scale, that will grow with you, that is going to grow slowly. Those things are more important than social media. But social media matters. But if you're feeling you're burning yourself out, you're on all the time, or you need to be everywhere all the time, at the very least, make sure that you're not just engaging for the sake of engaging, you're engaging for the sake of getting them onto your email list. That is the only reason we are on social media. All right? So that's number one. If you want to get 10K launches, build your audience without selling your soul. Phase number two, build your email list with future students in mind, right? Build your email list with future students in mind. The money really is in the list, but it's not about quantity. It is also about quality. We want to build email lists that is hot. We want to build email lists where people are opening our emails, they're reading our emails. But just like what I've just said about social media, I said your purpose on social media is to move them to your email list. Once they're on your email list, your purpose is to move them into a funnel. Your lead magnet, the free thing you give away to get them onto your email list, that needs to be like your first meet and greet with somebody new, right? And the part of your personality. We kind of behave differently when we meet someone at a party versus when we meet them at a networking event for business, right? We behave differently because it's different parts of our personality that we want to showcase, right? You might showcase your fun side when you meet them at a party, but you might showcase your professional side when you meet them at a business networking event. Your lead magnet is like that. It's what you're going to showcase. And you are going to showcase something that's going to make them connect with you in a way that they understand you have the solution to their pain points and you have the solution or the recipe for them to get what they want. All right? And once they're on your email list, you're going to create weekly content for them. Content that doesn't drain your energy. Content that is based on a few simple messages that you repeat over and over and over using different examples, using different metaphors, telling different stories. But you're always going to come back to the same core messaging. And that core messaging started in the lead magnet, opened the door for them, and then the next step is in when they join your launch, where you're going to help them solve an even bigger problem, and then you're going to introduce them to even better ways that you can solve their problems for them by with what you sell in your course. Alrighty. Today's episode is brought to you by Your First 10K Course Launch, the no overwhelm guide to converting your expertise into income. If you ever catch yourself thinking, I know I could help so many people if I could just figure out how to profitably launch my online course, you're not alone. Every day, brilliant creative entrepreneurs, coaches, and consultants keep their knowledge locked in a one-on-one service because turning it into a scalable course feels too overwhelming. Here's the good news. Creating your first 10K course doesn't require you to become a marketing genius. I've packed everything you need from packaging your expertise to launching with confidence into this no overwhelm step-by-step guide. Head over to thelaunchlounge.com/10K to download your copy today. Don't let another day go by with your expertise stuck in time for money services. Your future students are waiting. So think of your lead magnet. Wow. Crazy thunder outside. Think of your lead magnet as your introduction, showcasing the part of you that begins the journey that you want to take them on. So when you're designing your lead magnets, think about, what am I going to sell at the end of this lead magnet? If I have to make a sale a month, maybe 2 days, 3 days, 7 days, a month, a year after this lead magnet, what does that lead magnet need to talk about now? So build that lead magnet for me. And then you start priming your email list for future students. And that is phase number 2 or step number 2 of how you get closer to 10K launches. Right. Now we get to phase number 3. Phase number 3 is where you prime your audience during that launch runway. What do I mean by that? What I mean by that is, when a movie comes out, and they start leaking. Oh, I love how they always say they're leaking it. They leak the previews, or they leak the trailers, or they would leak some behind the scenes footage, which tells you they're shooting it. So first, there's these kind of teaser content that comes out. And then you start talking about their pain points and what it means when they have these pain points, and how it impacts their lives and how it impacts their relationships. And you start hinting at the fact that you have a solution for it. You're still in that phase where it's all preview phase. It's all like, I tell the story sometimes of The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. This is my favorite TV show ever of all times. I have seen every episode 100 times. I probably know it off by heart. There's just something about that show that just connects with me in a way that Yellowstone doesn't. Because I think you already know also that Yellowstone is one of my favorite shows. Anyway, so Mrs. Maisel, When they were coming out with the last season for Mrs. Maisel, they started by doing little pop-up events all over California. I saw them all over New York. I saw it in Denver. I saw them. They were doing these little pop-ups that nobody knew where they were going to pop up, but they were popping up and they were in full character, and it was just fabulous. And you could go and take photos, and they had parts of the sets, and it was just fabulous. That doesn't give away any of the content of the last season, but man, it creates excitement. So that's what you're doing in this launch runway phase. And the higher the price point of your course or your program is going to be, the longer your runway is going to be. Right? The longer you are going to start telling success stories of your students, really building the pain and solving some problems, solving some smaller problems, getting some objections out of the way. That's what you're going to do in this launch runway phase. So just like Mrs. Maisel, I want you to think of the 6 weeks, or if you're selling a course that's about $1,000, maybe your runway should be about 6 weeks long. If you're selling something that's $250, you need a couple of emails, right? You don't need a lot. Maybe a couple of emails, maybe like an email sequence. Okay. So you're going to share success stories. You're going to overcome their objections, and you are going to start creating excitement for the possibility of solving these pain points that they have. And that is your pre-launch runway. So that's what you're going to do in the time leading up to your launch. Phase number 4 is fill your list with hot leads. Now, I use one of the words in this sentence extremely strategically and extremely deliberately. And that word is hot. I am not saying fill your list with cold leads. Hear me on this, because even this morning I was coaching students, and one of my students asked me, so what do I do if I don't have enough people from my email list sign up for my launch? And of course, the question, it's tempting to ask, can I just run ads to fill up my launch? And the answer is no, you cannot just run ads to fill up your launch, because you don't know if your hot leads are going to convert yet. If your hot leads aren't converting, but you're filling up your webinar or your 3-part video series or your challenge or your bootcamp, if you're filling that launch up with ads because you don't have enough people in your warm audience, or your warm audience isn't responding to your pre-launch content in such a way that they are excited to join your launch, then running ads to fill your launch is just kicking the can down the road. You are eventually going to have to deal with the fact that you need to learn how to make an offer to this audience. And if you are running ads to an offer or a launch that has not yet converted to warm audiences, you are A, wasting your money, and B, you're probably going to come back to me and tell me that ads don't work for you because your leads from your ads didn't convert. And I'm going to go back to you and I'm going to say, no. What didn't work for you is your offer. Okay. So you are going to fill your launch with hot leads, and you're going to start your invitations to join your launch by inviting your email list. I want you to think of your launch period as like hosting a party, right? When you're hosting a party, you are inviting people. You are sending out invitations. That's your pre-launch phase, is that sending out invitations, getting people excited to come, right? They opt in. They say, yes, I'm going to come. Yes, I want to come. I can't wait. They put it in their calendars. They block off the time. They buy a new dress. They get some new shoes. They do their hair, their makeup. They show up. And the reason they show up is because they have been invited in and they have said yes. So that is an important conversion that you need. You need people to put up their hands and say, yes, I want to be in this launch. Yes, I want you to show me how you're going to solve this problem for me. Because once they're in your party, once they're in your house, there's a collective energy that starts building. And people start telling you what their concerns are. And that gives away their objections. People start telling you what their pain points are. They start telling you what their desires are. And the more registrants you can get for your launch, the better your results will be. But I am not saying throw money at ads to get more registrants, because what I want you to get is better results, not more bad results. 10 times rubbish is still rubbish. Okay. So more registrants, but warm registrants. Start by inviting your email list. Start by inviting your social media audience, and fill your launch with hot leads first. Make sure you understand how well your launch converted. So the number of people that said, yes, I want to sign up for your webinar. And then the number of people out of those that did sign up for the webinar that converts to a sale. What is that conversion rate? If your conversion rate is profitable on the webinar or on the three-part video series or on the challenge or bootcamp or whatever, if you have a profitable launch based on your warm audience, then you can start adding cold traffic to that. Now, again, you're not going to straight away go and blast your entire life savings onto cold ads. You're probably going to start with list building ads and warm those people up as well. Run your ads to your list building so that you can work a little bit less hard on social media, right? So now you're using your money to build your email list on social media. You get some of your time back so you can focus on really optimizing your launch results. And you can then take those launch results and amplify them with more colder traffic. And you're going to do that until it converts like crazy. And then you have my permission to put it on Evergreen and blast it with ads. Alrighty? But until you have warm launches that convert, you can't put it on Evergreen. And you can't just blast it with ads. You'll be wasting your money. All right, which brings me to phase number 5. Phase number 5 is your launch phase. And this is where you're going to make more sales. And here, if you still haven't heard me say this, let me just say it one more time. Marketing is what makes money, not just ads. Ads is just a fire hose that blasts more leads into your funnels. Your funnels are the things that makes the conversion, right? Your funnel is the thing that makes you money. It's your marketing, right? So email marketing is your hero strategy always. Storytelling is what warms people up. Storytelling is what gets people to put up their hand and say, yes, you understand me so well. You know exactly what my pain points and my desires are. And then you can use scarcity and urgency without being sleazy. I've just, when I started this episode, I told you about how good social media is at using urgency and scarcity to make you believe you need to be on it every day, all day. Are they being sleazy? Well, maybe like in a roundabout way, not in an overt way, right? But you feel the scarcity. You feel it, right? You feel the need to respond to that notification. It's how our brains work. So you're going to use urgency and scarcity with bonuses. You're going to use urgency and scarcity with disappearing bonuses. You're going to use urgency and scarcity with deadline. The cart is closing. When that cart is closed, it is closed. That is not fake scarcity. That is real scarcity. All right, so use some bonus strategies to build in urgency and scarcity. And then, make sure you add a tag to everybody who signed up for your launch and didn't buy. Because next time you launch, they might be in a better position to buy. Sometimes people need to hear things 7 times, up to 7 times. That's what marketing and advertising execs tell me. People need to hear things 7 times before they buy. So remember that. I have seen a lot of students who have gone through my launches multiple times before they launch, other people's launches multiple times before they launch. So it's not uncommon for you to maybe have people in your audience who follow you for 2-3 years and then buy something. I have certainly done that. Followed people for years and years and years and just used their free content until one day. And you know what the thing is that they did that made me buy that one day? It's consistency. It's just consistency over a long period of time. So there you have it. Those 5 phases are the key to building 10K launches for your online courses or your coaching programs, right? So if you plan to launch anything, a group coaching program, a course, one-on-one coaching, even a tiny little small digital product, make sure you go through these 5 phases and track your results in each of these phases. Make sure you understand exactly what the goal is of each of these phases so that you know if you're hitting that goal or not. And if you do, you will be on to your first 10K launch before you even know it. Before we wrap up today's episode, I want you to remember something. You don't need to be perfect at all 5 phases at once. Nobody is. Can I just tell you? I promise you. Everybody is still making a part of it up as they go. But maybe in your next launch, you focus on improving your email game. Or maybe you work on making your launch runway stronger. Pick one area and improve. And watch how that small change creates bigger and bigger and bigger results that snowball over time. And hey, if you want my complete step-by-step guide for your 10K launch that dives even deeper into everything we covered today, head over to thelaunchlounge.com/10K. I will give you a guide where I walk you through each of these phases in detail, including the bonus advanced strategies we touched on today. Remember, you've already proven your expertise works. Now, it's just about packaging it in a way that creates predictable income without sacrificing your time with family or burning yourself out. Our next episode will be out on Christmas Eve, and that one will be looking at why your dream customers can't find you and how you can fix it today. Until then, keep showing up, keep sharing your genius with the world, because someone out there needs exactly what you teach. And you deserve to have your freedom empire. Bye. Before you go, if today's episode helped you, imagine how many more lives could be transformed if other creators, coaches, and experts found these strategies too. Your shares and reviews help more course creators discover how to get their knowledge out into the world. Please take a moment to rate the show and leave a quick review. When you do, we get to reach more people and we make a bigger impact together. Because when more people who help people succeed, the world becomes a better place. Thank you.